in terms of next steps for you guys, what does the rest of 2021 look like and going into 2022? One of the questions in the community was about challenges you guys have faced in the past, and at the same time, what's going to come for 2022. And I feel like we talked a lot about the past, and
I think the for as far as roadmap, I think the biggest roadmap item, we have our closed beta that's underway, but we haven't told everybody it's underway yet. So now you know. But we'll be announcing that in a meaningful way shortly. We have a lot. We've been really quiet, and I think our community, they kind of pick up on it. When we get quiet, they know something's coming, and you can see them kind of react that way. But they're right. We are gearing up for that. We've been gearing up for this closed beta, and as a result of that sort of announcement, we're going to start doing a lot more AMAs. We're going to start rolling out a lot more of the MOUs that we've been collecting and not announcing through the summer months and into this this part of September. And then, I mentioned a chain migration. It's just kind of obvious if you look at our business model that microtransactions and the social token minting, the sort of ability for earning and micro payments on the application, it's just not possible on the Ethereum blockchain as it currently exists. We're really hopeful about ETH2, ETH2. And whatever that will create from a gas standpoint, but we just can't. We're looking to create as close to a gasless application as possible, and that is just not possible on the Ethereum blockchain as it currently stands. So we're looking at a chain migration. We've actually settled on how that's going to roll out, and it's going to happen soon. I don't want to say too soon, like it's going to happen in Q4, definitely. So that the community can get excited about not only a new migration to an L1 or an L2, we are staying on EVM compatible chains. So you can expect it's something that Bittrex Global doesn't need to do anything to change. We're still going to be an ERC20 token, just also somewhere else. And that will create the ability for our users to microtransact and for our application to really function very, very fast, which is something that currently Ethereum just doesn't offer. And then very close to free, to the point where we can subsidize that remaining cost to some degree and make, in the future, our goal is to be a gasless application, so that the users don't really have to approve transactions and constantly be paying money to do everything and anything they want to do on the application. And then ultimately the final step being our open beta, which the users, people watching the community from Bittrex Global can start getting excited about Engage to Earn. Hey, maybe we'll talk to Bittrex Global about using the VersoView application as a way for them to engage and reward their community in the future. I
like the sound of that. I mean, one of the things that I've been trying to push since I got here, and it's a really difficult thing to get done, is passportability of our users' accessibility to their accounts. So we think about building out a full-fledged SDK to allow app creators like yourselves to enable embedded widgets that allow people to log in directly to their Bittrex account from your app, giving them full access to their tokens and ability to exchange them without having to go through a separate KYC process, right?
Love it.
I mean, it's one of those things that I think will happen in the future, and that's where the whole industry is really going to go, because this KYC thing is a huge drag, along with having to do these migrations. And so settling on a platform that allows you to have the ERC22, I understand that, and the interoperability of moving to something that enables microtransactions, which is the use case under which you guys are going to be most successful.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned
a lot of sense.
Yeah, absolutely. The second part of your question was about challenges that we've had since launch. And it's pretty straightforward. I mean, capital has been the big one. When we decided not to do an IDO, ICO, IDO, private sale, whatever you want to call it, when we decided not to go with that VC funded early raise business model, we gave up, frankly, millions of dollars. So we've actually had to just bootstrap everything. And
now, when you handed out coin, that's just been you're just issuing rewards, and there's no actual fundraising that was done as part of that allocation
initially. So there was a tiny friends and family raise. It was literally $100,000 friends and family raise. Those tokens were completely vested. And then when we launched on Uniswap on December 2nd, we literally put all that money into the Uniswap LP and then set the price at the same as what people paid. So nobody got a deal. There were no vested lockups. There are no people dumping on the community. But the offset to that is there's also no $4, $5, $6 million treasury that we could use to sort of have a cushy, high marketing. So we've had to sort of bootstrap everything. Bootstrap the community, bootstrap the funding, bootstrap, every aspect of so what that does is it creates challenges immediately on marketing and community development. Is those early IDOs, the beauty of those fundraising or VC driven fundraising models is you start out with 10, 20, 30,000 people in your Telegram channel and tons of wallet holders. The downside is they tend to be mad because they usually bought the top and we're exit liquidity for the early investors. We just scrapped that whole business model and said, we don't need to do that. We'll figure out another way. And we created a business that was based strictly on the efforts of what we can do. What we're going to launch fair and build it up. And then the final thing I would point to as a challenge has been that struggle that we talked about between CeFi and DeFi. How do we be a compliant application in the regulatory framework that we exist in when one country is one way, another country is another way, or it is 80 countries or 80 different rule sets? How do we remain compliant and accessible while also maintaining the spirit of sort of cryptography and independence and privacy that we want? So those have been the main challenges that have plagued us, and I think we've handled them pretty well.